I wonder if they're just like, no, we're completely, no chance we're going to overpromise and underdeliver. But is there a chance that they are underpromising in the hopes of overdelivering? And maybe we're just trying to convince ourselves there's a chance. Like, do you think Fred's actually got a shot to play this week? We're taking it day by day. I think they said last week they weren't going to open my window. And then my window is now open. So, yeah, we're just taking it day by day. End quote.
Love it.
Bet I don't even need to say who said that.
Fred Warner?
That would be Fred Warner.
Yeah. Looked good. Looked good when I saw the video of him backpedaling and cutting and catching soft toss balls thrown right at him. He looks like he might be able to give it a go.
I mean,
what an emotional lift that would be.
I know that, like, earlier this year, remember Ricky Pearsall kept running at practice, and then they wouldn't play him. And then Kyle did that whole, like, no, there's like speed markers and things that you need to hit to show that you're actually ready for NFL speed. So I don't
love the comp.
What's that?
I don't love the comparison to Ricky
fine.
Pearsall. Fred Warner played the entire year last year basically on a fractured ankle.
I actually am not comparing him to Ricky Pearsall. I'm simply mentioning that they're like, just because someone can run and they show a video of it, I think it goes. But again, like, yeah, why would I? I'm not raining on this parade.
No. And, Dre Greenlaw fought his way all the way back to be able to play in the Super Bowl, and it ended badly, but the guy was, able to fight his way back. And, we always talk about the vibes of this team and the emotions and, what they've been as a group. If Fred Warner's able to go out there and run on the field 54 and give it a go, imagine what that would do to the guys in the locker room, let alone us as fans. We would lose our minds, but the team at 54 was able to give it a go. That'd be huge, even if it turned out to be like Willis Reed, and we all talk about the Willis Reed game. Yeah. Willis Reed scored, I think, 4 points in that game.
He didn't play that many minutes.
Right. But
the emotional
Willis
lift.
Reed game,
well, do you want to hear from a teammate who talked about just that? Here's Trent Williams.
For me personally, I just think the fact that Fred is even has a jersey on less than 100 days after what happened to him, that's just uplift the team. That's motivation, Having him near, just having his face in his locker room, it's motivation. It helps everybody, So, yeah, I think getting him in the wake of losing Kittle doesn't make the loss any easier, no. But I do think that it does give us a little bit of boost of energy just seeing his face.
I think so. That's exactly what you just said. Yeah. And then here's Fred himself.
Being back, having the practice jersey on again, being back out there today with the helmet on and running around with the guys, I'm sure will be great. But I'll have time to reminisce on all that after it's all over. My only goal right now is to have the best day ever today to have a chance to be in Seattle.
Okay, focused on Seattle. Here's Robert Saleh.
Just pure energy. Fred's the ultimate energy giver, so just having him out there is awesome. And so we, yesterday was a little bit more tempo down, but today, obviously with higher tempo, it'll be fun to get him out there, see him running around.
How about another teammate, just other side of the ball? I think his name is Brock Purdy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. Obviously, Fred he's different from anybody else in terms of, he can be labeled as having a, season-ending injury and then all of a sudden just go hard on the rehab and get right just in case there is an opportunity. And so here we are. And it's pretty cool because he's done every little thing right. Just being around the locker room and stuff and being around in the weight room at practice, it's just cool because you can feel him and his presence, and guys are like, man, 54 is right there around the corner, and obviously we do our job, handle our business, then we can get him back, which would be really cool. And guys feed off that. He's the captain here, man. He's the guy that we all follow. So, and he set the standard of, really how we play here. So to get him back would be, really, really cool.
So Purdy kind of takes Kyle's line of we got to go win a game so that we could get him back out there. And what I've noticed throughout all the years of watching sports, but particularly if you want to dig into the injury thing with the Niners this year, they usually don't get very definitive. They'll give you a clue, but it's rare that they'll get definitive, especially on a Wednesday, about somebody's availability. The Niners have not ruled anything out, but a couple of them have openly talked about how this is not the week, and I just wonder if they're playing possum a little bit. I wonder if they're just like, no, we're completely, no chance we're going to overpromise and underdeliver. But is there a chance that they are under-promising in the hopes of over-delivering? Like, do you think Fred's actually got a shot?
Absolutely.
To play this week?
Absolutely. But as I was mentioning to
that's
Grandy,
a game changer.
I was mentioning to Grandy yesterday, one thing you have to keep in mind is what it does to your special teams, because Fred doesn't play special teams. So if you elevate him, somebody comes off the active roster who probably is a special teamer who you might need, because your special teams weren't great without Gifford last weekend, and hopefully he's able to come back. So it's more than just, Fred, can you give us 30 snaps? Well, if he's going to come back and play, you want him to be Fred, which is you play every down. You don't come off on the sub packages. You play in the nickel. You play in the dime. You want to at least have him be in a spot where he could potentially play all the downs.
I hear you. I don't know how realistic it is after that time away to come back and be an every down player. But as a lot of these guys are saying, like, this is a different cat, man. The fact that he's even out of practice right now is bananas. So, like, I don't know. But usually when guys come back from injuries like this, they get eased back in to a certain degree.
Tough to ease, though, in the divisional round, you know?
That's my thing.
Yeah, week 9, you can ease it up. But, like, right now, it's if you're going to take one of the 46 game day spots, we need you to be somebody who can be at least close to what you normally are.
Are you one of those, and I'm going to say this with all the love, is it an odd bird situation where you suddenly now think this week they got a better shot to move on than last week? I get it. They legitimized themselves last week. Now they're officially, like, when you win one playoff game, people will already be like, you're on a run. It's like a streak, even though you've only won one time. But it legitimized them. I think that people look at this and go, I'd almost rather be the team in this matchup that lost last time, because you're the team that gets to adjust. The other team's like, let's go do the exact same thing. It worked last time. Maybe it won't work this time. Football doesn't usually work that way. I don't know, maybe we're just trying to convince ourselves there's a chance. I don't know.
Well, there's definitely a chance. But
well, yeah, they're in the game.
And we'd talk to Greg Cosell later today and talk about what he sees on the film. But, you know, you beat Seattle once, they beat you, and the way they beat you last time is, you know, pretty authoritative in my opinion.
Yep,
and
it was.
Now you're down George Kittle. So you're allowed to go up there and win, as you like to say, but it's a tall order. And as I was saying to Grandy, you got to play a clean game. Cleaner than you played against Philadelphia even, and that was pretty clean other than the 2 Purdy picks.
There are a couple things that are inherently different in this football game that I don't know if we've totally acknowledged yet, and this is completely separate from Fred Warner. I know people go, ooh, they dominated you there, and now they're at home, and now they're rested, and now they're this, and now they're that. These are all true things. Also true is that Trent Williams will play in this game, and Trent Williams did not play in the last game. Kyle Shanahan called this a different team when Trent plays, and I think that's true. Ricky Pearsall might play. Will that help the separation? I don't know. To me, job number 1, though, is totally focused on Trent. Job number 1 for the 49ers for this game to not look like the one 2 weeks ago is Brock needs time. That offensive line has got to block better this game. And I think you don't need to be smart to know they got a better chance to do that with Trent Williams than they did without.
Certainly, but they have a tougher time of it when you don't have George Kittle, who at times is in on pass protection. And one thing I was thinking about is not having George Kittle makes it a little bit more of a telegraphed offense. When you have Tonjes on the field, you're more likely to pass the ball because he's a better pass catcher. When you have Farrell out there, you're thinking it's more likely going to be a run play. And so Juszczyk is going to be key in this game as kind of Kittle light, where you're going to line him up a lot more, I think, on the line of scrimmage or in his little wing position where he halfway faces the quarterback, and he won't just be a primary lead blocker as he wasn't against Philly. He became Kittle light in that fourth quarter. He was out there catching a bunch of passes. So Shanahan, the genius, is going to have to really dig deep in his bag of tricks and figure out ways to keep Seattle's defense off balance.
I also loved, and was it Baldy? Somebody came on with the guys in the morning and said, look, everybody gets into the defensive schemes and everybody gets into one-on-one matchups. If you can just, and maybe it was Schlereth with you guys. Was it Stink who was talking about tackling?
Yep.
Just tackle. If you just tackle, you got a good chance to at least keep a game close. And my mind keeps going to that game against Seattle. It's what Shanahan and Saleh kept screaming about. Tackle.
They only missed 17, Mark.
That's not schematic. That's functional. And that's fixable.
Not 5, not 6, not 7.
And in that Seattle game, you were trotting out your young, albeit faster and maybe more talented linebackers, D. Winters, Tatum, Bethune, but they missed a lot of tackles. And now you're putting in more veteran guys.
The law firm.
Yeah, you're putting in Kendricks and Wallo. And they've got more reps underneath, and they played really well. And guess what? What did they do well?
They tackled.